everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chicano Hollywood Podcast. Man, we're having a great time already offset, but I want to bring it. I'm going to bring them right in here because you know what? It's going to be a great episode, and I'm excited because we have a reoccurring guest. You know, by I wouldn't say popular demand, but just by demand. His demand.
Your demand.
Oh, okay, my demand. Yeah. And then we have an amazing actress. We have Ambar. Let's welcome him to the set right here, Chicano Hollywood Podcast. Ambar Martinez. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure. Because I suck at trying to say things in Spanish. That's what's very difficult. That's why he's like, just say Ambar. And I'm like, okay, Ambar.
If I said it right, it's Ambar. But I can barely roll my R's, which is so
Ambar. Because we have Joel. Man, no, we got Joel Gonzales, Nosotros, man. I love this guy. Don't you love this guy? This guy's amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
everywhere.
You imitated him so well in the beginning. I was like, wow.
Yeah, he's always on the phone. He's always like, hold on. Muy importante. Okay. Deals.
Hey,
deals.
Hey, I'm trying to make things happen, man.
Yeah.
That's the hustle. That's the real life.
No, but I love it, man. I mean, just having both of you guys on is amazing. We want to switch things up all the time and make sure that, you know, we're giving everybody what they want. You know, they want different perspectives, different angles on different situations and stories and stuff. And being able to have, you know, Joel, he's like a producer. Have you directed? Yeah. Just a lot of producing side, huh?
Producer.
Okay, just producer.
You want to direct?
No.
Oh. I feel you.
No.
I directed one short film years ago before I even started.
You.
It broke, yeah.
I just realized I was more of a producer than
he's more of like he likes to tell people what to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I like to be the guy to say yes or no.
Yeah, and hey, that's a good thing. Yeah. But you know, so you know, bringing him back and having his perspective on everything, and then he knows you closely and stuff, and.
Through Nosotros.
Yeah,
Let's clarify that.
Yes, of course, through Nosotros. Yes,
Yeah.
because you are a member of Nosotros, right? You what else are you a part of? Is just Nosotros, or what do you do with Nosotros? Or how's Nosotros?
Can I introduce her?
Yeah.
'Cause I just feel like she needs to be introduced. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Ambar Martinez has always been a longtime supporter of Nosotros. She's helped us coordinate events. She's been there years now, supporting us. And, you know, and obviously this new economy we're in now, Nosotros has been up and down, but she's always been a trooper. So for me, when you were looking for, more guest recommendations,
yes.
Besides recommending myself as a recurring co-host, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I was like, bro, have you been watching The Pitt? Right? Have you been watching 911? I mean, like, Ambar. See? No, it's because now I'm looking at you and you're trying to confuse me.
About it too much, yeah.
Is someone who has been a part of Nosotros is a working actor, and I don't mean working as in just working on shows, but she's working at it. And that is my biggest message has always been to Nosotros. You know, it's you got to put the work in. Right. And I get the whole like, well, I don't want to be a playmate and all that. At the end of the day, Ricardo Montalban would have said, if your role is a maid, then play the best maid. Okay, if your role is a gardener, play the best gardener. Because if you show up every day and work, people are going to notice, and that's why we have Ambar Martinez here today, because she is an example of that. And I just love her on the show The Pitt. So there you go. That's the intro that you deserve.
That was an amazing intro.
But please, tell us more about who you are, your career, and what you're doing. Not so much Nosotros, but just all the cool stuff that I already know about you.
Okay. I'm just going to start monologuing again.
She's like, y'all two sabes right here?
Yeah. So when I was 8, I knew I wanted to be an actor. I had my mom put me into a local play, The Wizard of Oz. I was a munchkin. I wore a little bodice.
That's cool.
Little woman, how to learn the dances. And then she, like any good Latina mom, was like, I'm worried about you being a child actor and getting into trouble, right?
Yeah.
She came from Dominican Republic. She was, had heard stories. Yeah. And so I pivoted into ice skating. So I skated for a few years, and that kind of helped me get my theatricality out. And I was going to go to college, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I still knew I wanted to be an actor, but my parents were like, look into nursing because you could do that on the weekend and audition during the week. So I took anatomy and physiology class. I loved it. The human body is crazy.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah. Like once you do cadaver lab, like you either throw up or you're like, wow, this is amazing.
Either you like to look at dead bodies or you don't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty, you find out pretty quick where you stand off gore and whatnot.
That is crazy. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many years so when you were in San Diego, okay, you said, I heard you say agent. Are you got an agent?
Yeah.
So what was that? Was that theatrical? Was that commercial?
Commercial, yeah.
So that just happened, or you were continuing to, what were you doing?
I was doing acting classes, did an agent showcase. They liked me. I signed with them. I still have them down there.
Okay, cool.
They're great. And then I would try to do auditions in LA, so I would do the commute for a little bit, but I was still non-union, so you don't really get a lot of TV and movie auditions until you become union.
Got it.
So
So you are SAG, you're union.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what was the role? What was the thing that got you your union card?
So it felt like it was so hard to get into SAG. Like when you want to get into SAG, it feels like it's the hardest thing to do. I was like, back then you could actually do a SAG New Media program and kind of like Taft-Hartley yourself in a way. And
I
then
did that.
Yeah, nice, okay. And so I moved to LA 2016. Was like looking for any opportunity to become union or SAG eligible, and then finally I hooked up with this writer and actor, and he was like, let's make a short and let's Taft-Hartley. And I actually was playing a nurse because like one of the requirements for Taft-Hartley, you have to kind of show that you have like a skill that another union member doesn't have or whatnot. And so we made the short, and then things kind of changed a little bit with the guidelines, like if you could do it as easily. I kind of forget, it was 2017. And so I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, and then I found out that all I had to do was submit the paperwork and say that I was like ready to join the union. And
Serious? That's all you had to do?
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
ready to join. Yeah.
Because I did what you did. I created like a short.
Yeah.
And I got somebody who was SAG because SAG has to be in the.
Oh yeah, so
short.
we also had somebody who was SAG in it
Yeah.
too, who's a very great actor too, and it was a good little short, but like I think because things were changing so much then, I was like, oh, did we
I
miss
guess
our
they
window?
knew everyone was doing that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and then they were staying like eligible for a while, and so I didn't realize that I was eligible for a while, and then finally I was like, okay, let me actually submit this stuff, and then I became eligible, and then around that time I got introduced. I was already kind of doing this at an independent feature level, but I would do like independent features and short films, and I would kind of medical advise using my nursing experience and knowledge. And then I became friends with somebody where I worked, and she was working on a show, 911, doing medical advising. And so getting on 911 as it's like a very specific, I guess it is kind of background, but it's we call them realies in our world because they're real medical people.
Yeah.
Realies,
and,
I like that.
Yeah, and the rate is different than like your SAG background, but you usually get vouchers for it because it's such a specialized skill.
Right.
And so it was like as soon as I made the opportunity for myself to join SAG, it's like I couldn't stop getting opportunities to join
Great.
SAG. It's like
That's great,
It's
yeah.
like I had to do that first,
Yeah.
and then it felt so easy.
Yeah.
But at first it felt impossible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, okay, it's time to join.
Yeah. Because some people always ask, like, is it worth joining SAG? To cover the fees and all of that. I go, well, look, it's like having that stamp of approval, right?
Yeah.
Like, USDA meat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's Prime, there's
Yeah.
Choice.
You're a
I'm just saying-
legitimate actor.
Yeah,
You're
as
in this to win it.
Yeah, you're in it to win it.
Yeah.
You're serious about it. And that
Yeah.
goes back to what we talked about off camera, which is there's a difference between working and working at it. And the fact that you again, submitted your paperwork, it opened up the floodgates.
Yeah.
So you got onto I was going to say Reno 911, wrong show.
Yeah.
Great show.
That was a great
Yeah,
show. That
great
was a
show.
great
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Great show. That was an amazing show.
But you got on 911. So at that point, so you were there. You were doing like background stuff,
Yeah.
but it's because you were a medical technician
Yeah.
that they had you doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So
So I
what was
was-
that experience like? Who? How did you become more recurring on that part?
Okay, so that I met a great group of nurses, medical advisors that had already been working, like they worked together on Code Black and some other shows. And so anytime you see one of those really highly medical shows and you see people like either transferring patients to a gurney or, you know, acting like they're putting an IV in.
They're realies.
Yeah, they're realies. Yeah, they're
Yes.
usually
Hashtag realies.
Yeah, hashtag realies.
Hashtag
Yeah.
realies.
Yeah, and so like Britt and Jamie, shout out to them.
Hey.
Yeah, they, you know, I started working with them in like 2019, and then come end of 2019, I booked a news reporter in a SAG feature, and so also a Verizon commercial playing a nurse, but that part ended up getting cut. But anyway, I became like a must join. So then I joined SAG 2020, and then
So wait, so you were on
Wow.
you were on 9/11 without being SAG.
yeah, because I was still eligible.
You were,
so
got it. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. No, that's cool.
Yeah. And so then cut to, I think, 2021, I got my first speaking role on General Hospital.
Yes, I see that right here.
Yes.
In 2021 to 2024, you had
everything.
6 episodes on General Hospital.
Yes, yeah, and that was great. I was playing a nurse, and I also I got to like pivot into that because the casting director, I had done some classes, and he knew I was a nurse. And then they had like a highly technical scene, and so that's kind of how that came about. That I got to
great.
use those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you do have a special skill, what they use a lot is in like SWAT movies
Yes.
and stuff. They use real
An
police
advisor,
officers
yeah.
or
Yeah,
advisors,
Yeah.
and who's good at that is Jeff Reyes. He always brings a lot of military guys,
Yeah.
and then they're the ones that know how to do
Yeah.
everything and
Exactly,
stuff. So
yeah.
they're
That's
really
why it looks good.
That's why it looks
because,
good. They're
like,
really.
If I try to do that, I wouldn't know. I would just be imitating. You know?
She's like, hey, pew.
yeah.
Me, always like I watch these post-apocalyptic, shows like The Walking Dead or what's the new one, The Last of Us.
Oh,
And
Last of
it's
Us.
always
Yeah,
a
I
trip
love
to me.
Last.
How is it that in that situation, everybody becomes good with a gun? Like all of a
Right.
sudden, it's like, oh, zombies! I know how to shoot a gun. It's like
Right, yeah.
I guess they must have a lesson for them. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I heard there's a really in-depth audition for zombies. Like they get very serious about that.
For The Last of Us? Or, yeah.
They get really technical on how they. Okay, let me see how you go as a zombie.
Let
Like,
me
what
see
the heck?
Let me see your zombie.
Yeah.
Twitching and-
Yeah. Well, you have to. It's
Yes.
like you're convulsing. You're not playing a human anymore, right? It's like and it's also like very stunt heavy too. I think you have to.
Right?
have
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
Good
like hitting
kind of
hit, they're doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think The Walking Dead definitely opened up that genre for like, actors.
definitely.
It's like, hey, okay, maybe I'm going to be on camera, but I'm going to be missing my jaw, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
My jaw.
missing my jaw, it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, but I love the fact because everything you're saying here is really cool because you're saying a lot of the beginning stuff. Like it's crazy how you're saying Taft Hartley, right? Taft
Yeah,
Hartley.
yeah.
Because I did that. Like I said, I did that, and
Yeah.
then I was eligible, and then I met Joel, and I was like, oh, forget about being an actor. I'm gonna be on the other side, producing
Yeah.
and just getting things together.
Yeah.
But and then I love the fact because when you're on set, I said this before. When you're on set, I did background work. That's because I wanted to get a feel, so I went to Central
background
Casting.
work is great. Like if you've never been on a big set, I feel like every new actor
Taste
should
it,
do
right?
background. Yeah.
Just to see if you like it.
Well, because you learn so much about just like just the terminology that you don't get
Yes.
from like short films or even from like doing
Guerrilla
classes.
shoots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're just like, okay, let's move. We're gonna go here. They're
Yeah,
not
but it's
doing the terminology.
so technical. Yeah.
Yeah, and so but one thing that's always been said to me is like everyone gets in a group and they sit down. They're like, so where are you guys? Where are you from? Where are you from? I'm from Colorado. I'm from Ohio. I'm from this. And they ask me, I'm like, I'm from LA. They're like, really? You're from here?
like,
and
you're a
right here.
unicorn.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, exactly.
So rare.
You're-
What?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what? You're from here? But yeah, and so to see that young people, because I'm a little older now. I mean, we're older, but to basically pack up.
I'm not.
You're not old.
Don't throw we in there.
Okay,
I was like,
Joel. Since Joel, they pack up everything to follow a dream, to come to
Yeah.
LA, Hollywood, and say, you know what, I want to make it. I want to be a star. I want to be an actress, an actor, maybe even a producer or stuff. But so, what were some of the difficulties that you went through to just say, hey, I know I got to come to LA to become my dream.
Yeah.
So what were some of the obstacles and some of the things that you had to do or overcome in order to start making it happen?
I'll have to say that, like, I think because I followed what my parents thought was smart, and it is smart now. Like I joke about them saying, no, we're not going to pay for your theater degree, and me being butthurt about that. But I think I'm very grateful for that now, because it's led me to so many, being a nurse has led me to so many opportunities. And it also, I will say, like, being an actor, like, the industry is so up and down. Like, there's, right before the strike, I booked, like, 3 TV roles and then, like, a short film, and they were all paying, and it felt like great. I was like, everything's rising. And then the strike happened, and then it was like crickets until the Pitt. And luckily, though, I had skills that, like, I could go back to and have a job for a bit that I wasn't worried, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the hardest part. I've talked to other actors that are like, hey, Ambar, I'm thinking about, like, maybe going to nursing school just so that I'm not worried about where my next paycheck is coming from while I wait to, like, get my big break.
Yeah.
And I've had some friends even go to EMT school to, like, get their EMT.
Interesting.
Which, there's always going to be a need for, like, anything in the medical field, which is nice. But it is hard for creatives, because you're like, well, I want to be doing something creative while I'm waiting to get my big break. But, like, sometimes you have to just find what gives you peace inside, because I think that ultimately makes you a better actor sometimes. Like, if you don't come at these auditions with desperation. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're hungry for it.
Yeah, when you're hungry, but, like, not in a desperate way where you're like, I have to book this, otherwise, like,
I don't pay my rent.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of times when we're doing casting and stuff, you get the level of actors that come in, and you see that some that are hungry, like desperate, and then some are that are like, oh, I got it good, and Crave, we saw that, right?
Yes, a lot.
And other films that I've done, and then there's the ones that are balanced, and those are the ones that they have a sense of confidence.
Yes.
And they're just like, okay, I know I have something to fall back on. Not that we ask them, but they're just confident.
Yeah.
And that's what we look for, is confidence in that casting. It's like,
and it permeates. And then you're like, that's who I want to work with, because I'm not worried at all about their vibes on set.
Yeah.
Like, I know that they can play this role, and it trickles down to every part of your life when, you're worried. Yeah, when you don't feel balanced in other areas.
And as a producer, you don't want to feel guilty, like, oh my God, if this film isn't a success, this person's going to lose their house. You don't want to do that. Yeah. But I think the important takeaway from this part of the conversation is that, right? I think is that just because you have that dream, look, everybody comes at it from a different vantage point. I mean, I know Will Smith is there's this thing that I see all the time, like, I had no plan B, it was only plan A. Either this or nothing. I get that, but that worked for him, and that's when he's in a comfortable position to say something like that. Not to say that it's not true, and I know many people say, no, it's this or nothing. And it works for them, and for some it doesn't. I had to raise 2 children, right? And I had to have the jobs at Bank of America, marketing rep for Panda Express. But I was constantly doing the things that motivated me and excited me. You and I have had this conversation. So it doesn't come easy. So I think the big takeaway for everybody listening should be that it's like, don't, just because you have that day job, we'll call it day job, doesn't mean that you can't still pursue your dream. Right?
No, I consider it's still a part of your plan A.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're doing everything you need to do to make it, because you're pursuing your dream, but that's still part of plan A. It's like plan B. You're pursuing something. You're still headed towards your goal. So people, I don't want, people shouldn't get like, oh, well, you're not there yet because you're still working. No, it's part of the plan.
Yeah,
I'm still going.
I know actors who, like, got recurring guest stars and we're still having to tutor. That you're still working as waiters and bartenders. It doesn't mean that they weren't, that they're aspiring. No, they're working actors. They just have to. You just have to have multiple side hustles, and.
No, but I think I know people are saying like I'm gonna still do certain things. It's still part. We're gonna say this. Working is still part of the plan A. So if someone's working and they're acting and stuff, it's still part of their plan. But to me, I look at it like the roles that you've gotten. I did my research. I mean, those are breakout roles in my eyes.
Oh,
and seriously,
did you do your research?
Yes, I did. Yeah. And I looked all over her social media. We're gonna get some other stuff. I went to her little favorites things and everything. No, she's all great. I had to stalk you for this interview. Okay,
I actually appreciate it. So
after tomorrow, it's done.
Okay.
That's no, but it just
all those likes. I get it, dude. All those thumbs up on the photos. It's like, dude, look at
she's like, oh, that's JR. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God. Good, you threw me off right now.
Sorry.
Good.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to
So
throw you off.
you threw me off. So just doing those things and stuff.
Yeah.
But I look at it as that. What type of things or what did you get involved in or like because you have this background of that you're registered as a nurse.
Yeah.
So are there certain type of people that are in certain type of jobs that get more of the roles because there's more available roles for those type of people and stuff? Because I know how I said like you had your breakout role. And that's what actually I was trying to say. I was going to something else because Joel threw me off. But you had your breakout role. But I can see you already having a breakout role because you're on TV. You're doing something. You have success. I see a lot of your IMDb. You have a lot of success. But what is your breakout role then that you consider? Because I know sometimes it's not enough. But when people see you, they're tagging you, your pictures, and they're saying, "Oh my God, there's Ambar," and it feels good, right?
Yeah.
And you have lines.
Yeah.
So, but you're still in your head like it's not my breakout role. So, what is your breakout role?
I feel like it's, probably like to date, definitely
Yeah.
The Pitt, right? Because it's such a big show right now. There's like the fan growth is phenomenal. Like it's really cool. I'm still a small character on the show, and there's so many people on the show. It's like such a huge ensemble cast. As working in a hospital is like there's so many different characters and roles and whatnot. But so I'd say that's probably my biggest one because it's been the most consistent.
It sounds like it would be ongoing, right?
Yeah.
Your breakout role is always going to be
Yeah.
the next thing that you've achieved, the next level, and
Yeah.
you're where you're at, and then after that you go to the next level. So
Yeah.
probably your breakout role is every step forward, right?
Yeah.
I would
like that,
imagine,
yeah.
I mean that's how I look at it with producing. It's like what I'm working on now is important, just as
Yes.
important as everything else I've worked on. But and I take it with the same seriousness of like this could be the one, right? So you never know.
Yeah.
Right?
You
So-
never know.
I like that.
Yeah. I just did a feature film. We filmed in Vegas. It's a holiday film that's coming out in November. And the two girls that star in it, they're sisters, and they were just in Megan 1 in the sequel.
Oh,
and then,
wow,
yeah,
Megan.
Yeah, and then Black Phone and the sequel. So they're incredible. They're amazing actresses. I feel like that's going to be a really great.
Great.
It's like Die Hard meets. It's like a
Wow, Die Hard.
it's a holiday film, but then it's like meets Home Alone. I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm so excited for it.
I
so
see
that could
her
be,
in one of those movies where it's a small town. And the star comes to find himself and falls in love with the local girl.
And I'm like, I'm
basically, you want to have her. Yeah, she's selling Christmas trees. It's a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark.
Mario Lopez, starring with Ambar Martinez.
Yes,
Mario,
see?
what's up, bro? Like we just wrote your
Hey,
next
I
movie.
would-
No, because you have that
Mario.
look. I can tell. She has that look. You have that look. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can see you in a movie like that. Easy.
I love those movies. Like, yeah.
So I do have a question. So being a nurse, during COVID? Did you work in
Yes.
during COVID?
Yes.
So you were
Yeah.
actively working.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Still in therapy about that.
Wow,
But
yeah.
I think, the interesting thing about the Pitt is that it helped me realize that the trauma that I had kind of been suppressing from that time was okay and normal. Because
Yeah.
I think I used to think that, trauma is only for people who are in the military or people who've gone through really horrific life experiences. But I think trauma, and I kind of heard this the other day, it's kind of whatever you feel internally that kind of happens to you or around you.
Yeah.
So the way that I look at it is people in the medical field, they experience other people's worst days of their lives
Yes. Yeah.
over and over, right? If you're in the hospital, you're probably having one of the worst days of your life. And we kind of share that with you, by empathizing and just trying to help you get through it. And it's over and over and over. And I was like, it's okay. It's what we signed up for, but it's we're not robots. We're
Yeah.
all human.
Yeah.
And
True.
so we absorb that, so. But the Pitt helped me realize that that was not a normal time. I think everybody who was around during COVID. Like, I feel like it was all very stressful for us, and it was all like traumatic, right? Because like some of us were like, are we ever going to go back to normal life? Are we ever going to be able to like hang out with people again?
Right. Yeah. It was a serious thing.
Right?
Yeah, it was.
You're like, are we going to die from it? So, so I think.
Well, and you were in it.
Yeah. So
do you bring that, during, and the reason I asked that question was because I know the main character. If you guys haven't watched The Pitt, watch The Pitt.
He's like biggest fan.
It's such a great show. Noah Wiley, is awesome in it.
He is.
And he's going through his kind of PTSD of having gone through COVID. That's why I asked, because I'm imagining that, I know he's not a registered nurse, but I'm imagining all of you that have gone through that. Do you agree? And you just answered the question.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. Going through that and being a doctor or a nurse, you're right. You're having to empathize with people.
Yeah.
Have empathy. Excuse me, I'm using the wrong word. Have empathy for them, what they're going through. And then bringing COVID into the mix, and having seen that, so are you bringing that into your role? Like, I see you in the background and you're doing this. I'm like, how does she know how to do all of that? And I didn't know until I asked one of our mutual friends, and she goes, "Well, Joel, she's a nurse." I'm like, "What the F? I did not know that," because she's so good at it, right? And how is she?
She knows how to.
Yeah, dude, I'm serious. So I was so impressed with that. So hearing this is great, but I imagine you're bringing all of that into that role. So let's talk about The Pitt, though, because I think you just said right to date is that breakout role for you. So how'd you come to that? Did you know going into it that your character was going to kind of grow into what I think is happening? I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so The Pitt, I first heard about it, like, most actors in any acting class, you'll hear about the upcoming shows that are coming up. And like, also I saw a Deadline article, I think back in March of last year or April, that a new ER show is coming out, emergency room show. And I was like, oh, cool, exciting. And then I did have an audition for it to play a patient, like back in June. So glad I didn't book that.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank God.
You could have been stuck there.
Yeah. And I never came back. I could have died on the show. No.
Oh, you were going to play that one. I know that.
No.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. I'm trying to think which one was it. Okay, no. Okay.
No, we can't bring you back. You died.
Yeah. Oh, God. I would have cried. So then, like, I did that. And then a couple weeks later, through, like, my mutual med teching community, I got referred. And one of the producers reached out to me, and she was like, hey, we're looking for, people who've done medical advising on shows before. And, it's Monday through Friday because of the continuity of the show. It takes place in one day. So you kind of have to be there, ideally every hour. And then, like, if your character leaves, you can't really come back. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I can commit to, like 5 episodes right now. But that was, I'd have to book out with my agent manager. And I was like, that's a long time. And also, like, the writer's strike had just ended. And so I was like, I can't just, like, completely leave that. And
I want to stop there because that's an important point, though, because think about it. It's like any job. Do I take this job or do I not? And as an actor, again, if you were desperate, and I don't mean desperate in a bad way. I'm just saying, I'll take the role.
Right.
But because you've had your career at this point, you have your other career that you've done, you actually had to really process it and say, okay, let me decide if this is right for me. That's cool.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
I did have to do like some kind of meditating on it. And, I read the first script and I was like, oh, this is heavy. Like, there's a doctor on top of the roof, like contemplating life, which like felt so real because like during COVID, like lots of dark thoughts, not like, just like about the fate of humanity and all of that stuff. Right. And so I was like, do I want to do this? This is going to bring up a lot of trauma that I've been like ignoring.
Wow.
And then, I was like, no, this feels like it's going to be a good show. And the cool thing about having auditioned for it before is that Noah, in each audition, Noah Wiley, as a producer, he sent a note with every audition, and it was just like this really great note. It was about how he wanted to build a community, how like this is going to be a different type of show. And I was like, this feels really good. Like having him on as a producer and, star of the show, I was like, this is going to be a great show. It's going to be something incredible. So I was like, I'm going to take the leap of faith. I'm going to just like dedicate, like pretty much the whole summer. I like Monday through Friday I was there, 7 A to 7 P. We would get off early sometimes. And then around the second or third episode, like I was having a great time. It was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm on set, I'm learning so much. Like I'm around these amazing actors. The producers came up to me and they're like, they're going to write you into the show. And which like
hard drop.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much other stuff that happened that like I'm simplifying it.
Yeah.
That it wasn't. They weren't just like, "Hey, you're gonna get a role." It was like there was conversations and there was like, and I don't want to say networking because that sounds so like vapid, but there was just, we got to know each other.
Well, your role began to become more of an importance as it began to go.
Yeah,
because as I see in some of the things, you're in there. So how are you not supposed to speak?
Yeah, that's what.
You know what I mean?
That's what
you're in there.
Yeah, that's what like my family was saying. They're like, yeah, no wonder they wrote you, and you're like in all the major trauma scenes. Like it feels weird that you don't talk. And I was like, yeah, I guess so.
There's Kim. Can you get that?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, look, what she said right now. Again, I want to make sure we don't these little hangnails that I call them hangnails. Like what you said right now about you didn't want to say networking.
Yeah.
But in the reality is this: if you're an actor and you want to be a working actor, work being an actor. And it does mean build relationships. I'm not going to say talk to people, network. It's building relationships.
Build
You
relationships.
did that.
I like that
saw
word,
a lot of the photos that you were posting afterwards, and you guys looked like a family.
Yeah.
You guys looked like you guys had each other's back.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. As an actor, you think, okay, I got to go in there and I got to be better than this person and better than that person.
No.
Or even with producers or directors, it's like, no, man, like we have to work with each other in order for us to move forward. And I'm not just talking about Latinos. I'm just talking in general.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important note, is that like you said, you kind of simplified it. So they didn't just come up to you and pick you.
Yeah.
It's because you built relationships.
Yeah.
That's right.
They knew the value you brought to it, right? And it's showing up and doing the job. And that's what, like I said, Ricardo Montalban would have always said, one of his quotes was, if you get to play this bandito or this, I'm simplifying it as well, or nurse or any of those roles, do it and be the best at it. Right?
And be kind. Like I can't
Yes.
stress that enough. Like I will say, working with John Wells, he's an incredible producer, and I've heard from other people that there's like a no assholes on set kind of policy.
Yeah.
He never said it, but like you just kind of can see that like everybody on that set is a kind, hardworking, talented human, but they're respectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no divas on that set.
Yeah.
And that's so important because you do meet people that are like, oh, I'm gonna be the best, blah, blah, blah. And like, it's like, don't have that attitude. Just be like a real, genuine, kind person because that's gonna like show up.
Whoa, someone's been
Oh, it's time for the club part.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break real quick, guys, and we're gonna go.
Somebody off camera didn't silence their phone. Go ahead.
So I think, so that's when like if you're networking, don't look at it as networking. Just look at it as like having a conversation. Yeah, build a relationship. Like take a genuine interest into somebody else. Don't be all about yourself for a second. Oh, I think that means when I'm dropping the mic.
Oh,
I know. I'm grateful because Monica just keeps on messing it up.
He's dropping truth. He's dropping truth. Let me ask you a question on that. Did you already have the name Nurse Kim?
No.
So that came after they told you
It was just nurse. It was Nurse One.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
No. Actually, I've been Nurse One before, so I can't just on her. She's there.
She's there.
She's there. She's doing the work. No, it was just if you look at my badge, it was my name, Nurse Ambar, and
that's cool.
So if you look really closely, like episodes 1, 2, and 3,
Easter eggs.
Yeah, you'll see a much longer name because that was like my whole Ambar Martinez.
I'm gonna look for that. I am. I'm gonna look for the
And
screenshot.
then come, I think episode 4, when they found out. I think the idea, and I don't know because I didn't want to pick their brain because I was like, this is a blessing. I'll take whatever. But I think there was going to be a character like her.
Got it.
But they're like, hey, we have you. Noah knew I was an actor. We had talked about theater. He knew who my acting teacher is. His wife had like trained under her too, and he had worked with other actors who had trained under her.
Important thing. Great. Another great note.
Yeah. And so, he knew that I wasn't just like a medical tech. You know what I mean? And so I think they were already going to have that character, and then they're like, oh, we already kind of have you here, and that's kind of how it happened.
So can we loosely say that you were picked by Noah Wiley? And
kind of, yeah.
Hey,
yeah. I mean, I owe so much to Noah's an amazing human, and I can't speak his praises.
I'm glad to hear that because there are actors that I admire, and I've always admired him since ER back in those days. And it's just, but then I meet them. I meet actors I admire. I'm like, oh, I wish I never would have met you.
No,
so I don't ever want to meet him. I don't want to meet him.
It breaks the character.
I don't ever want to meet him because I admire him so much. But
but he's like I don't know. He's what he did on set day in day out. He was there all the time, and then he wrote episodes 4 and 9, which are some of my favorite. And he also executive produced. Like he had to be, like in the pitch, the concept meetings, and like also help with casting, and just like he had to do so much stuff. And he was so even keeled, like, and just calm and cool and professional. And he was. I just learned so much from him as an actor.
That's great.
And I like the fact that you said it because it's all about building a community on set. I've always said that Joel is big on that. He's done a great job because we've done a lot of music videos together and a lot of things that we worked. And he always tried to make it be a family taco truck or the tacos, and we're eating. Everyone's like, oh yeah, man, And just to see people that are like, oh, look at coming from other places, like, oh, tacos. Yeah. But it's cool because when I did background work, I've been on set, and one of the most nicest sets I've ever been on was NCIS LA with LL Cool J. Because he would walk on set and be like, is everybody okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he literally came up to me. I was just sitting like that. He came up to me and goes, hey, you doing good, man? You all right? You good? And I go, yeah, thanks. And he goes, yeah, just want to, you need anything, let us know. We'll get you guys, if you guys get hot, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, see? That is important.
You should have looked at him and said, I need love.
Well, I did take a picture. I go, well since we're there, hey. And this was like,
I was referencing the song, but maybe you guys are too young.
No, but then I was on another set. And they told everybody it was this is a long time ago, and it was a hospital. I forgot which show it was, and I was a background, and they told background
Not to look at the actor?
No, they told background to leave the set because they had to say some important news. And that I was already having a bad day on that set. I was like, dude, people are jerks, this and that. They're horrible. Yeah. But I just sat there. They told us to leave, but I just still sat on the set. I didn't care. And so it was all the main actors, producers on them. They said, after this episode right here, we're final. We're done. They canceled us. And then the main actor on them, I believe they start cussing and this and that. And I was like, good. Good. It was one of the worst sets I was on. And they canceled them right there.
Wow.
And then they walked off set.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's important for that stuff.
Yeah. No, because I think, it shows, and it also comes from the top down, but like John Wells, Noah, Scott Gemmell, Simran, they're all the producers, like, are just incredible people. They're talented. It was just.
Well, people don't understand the background people are your like word of mouth promoters.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go talk crap about the show, or we're gonna talk good about the show, and then it spreads.
Our background people were great,
and it spreads.
Yeah.
So the background performers on the Pitt, when they came on, they're like, you're gonna be here every day. Like some of the people that played patients, they were in the same bed every day for months. They also became like our family too, because like we just saw them all the time, and they were just.
They're there.
Or even the waiting room, right? The waiting room is always with the same characters. It was a consistency of the show.
But it's incredible. They did such a great job. And then like some of them that were playing nurses, and there was like a couple respiratory therapists and a couple like medical like EMT techs. But like I think they really loved the show too, and they were promoting it on their Instagrams, and it's a great environment.
I'm all about the show right now. This is like the fanboy show. So, what about all that camera movement? Because it really bumping this. It's just all of that continuity that they had to match because it's all happening in the same day.
Yeah.
So you're wondering like how the camera movement I thought was great. I mean the direction was great.
The camera was like a character itself. Like our DP JoJo, she's amazing. She we would have mainly 2 camera operators, and they were so good at blending in that sometimes like there's a couple of funny moments where actually one of the other med techs, like she went to go get like a tray from across the room, and then when she came back, like I think it was Amy, who was one of the camera operators. I think she was right there, and she kind of like looked like this, and then she didn't know what to do, and you don't end up seeing this, but she just like. Instead of just moving off,
she went
to the side.
Because like all of a sudden
the camera was there.
Yeah, because it's just they're in there.
They're
moving.
like on steady cams. Are they on steady cam?
It has to be.
It's all steady cam.
Yeah,
it has to be. Yeah,
handheld and.
Because you guys are walking, moving.
Yes.
They gotta be like falling.
It's like choreography. It
literally is
choreography.
So they would do trauma rehearsals like either the day before, and then also on the day with our doctor medical advisors, who are also great. The doctor medical advisors would be assigned to one episode, and then they would like switch off because it's so much work, because they have to tell the actors like, okay, on this line of dialogue you're going to be doing this procedure, and then this is how you say that, and then this is the stakes of this, like, you know, if this doesn't get done, this patient's going to die, like this is what it all means. So they did a great job. Everybody's just like top notch on that show, and I think that's why it's
were they really
so
cutting
well.
people open? Like
no,
really, Jill?
No, I'm just saying.
Cut somebody open.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, so how was all that?
Oh gosh,
you haven't watched the show, bro. So it's pretty graphic.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was in a play where I would stab somebody and they pop the bag the wrong way and it would squirt in my eye. And I'm like, I can't see. Does that happen a lot? Because you're like, oh.
Well, there is one character who gets sprayed a lot. So
sprayed.
Yeah,
is that one guy, right?
Yeah.
I seen that you had the little wall of everything.
Yeah. Wall of Garen. Yeah.
No, I'm doing
See?
it's pretty graphic,
Okay,
bro.
yeah.
You see a woman delivering a baby, and you see it all.
You see everything.
And I was just like, whoa.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
It's
watch
gonna
that.
make you not want to watch delivery ever.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to.
That's gonna give me PTSD right there.
So, I mean, I don't know how much time we have, but the last question I have as a fan is, okay, so is Nurse Kim, there's a sparkle of a little relationship or a little interest there with the guy that's getting sprayed with urine and blood and all that stuff. So can you share? Do you know? It's been renewed, right, for the next
Yes. So I don't know yet, though, what will happen with my character. That's really up to the writers. So, and also
hashtag Nurse Kim. Get it out there, guys. Hashtag Nurse Kim. We want to see her in the pit.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, so when Noah originally, told me when I first got episode 4, I saw that there. So you haven't seen it, but there's spoiler alert. There's a scene where we have to go and medicate this patient that's having a psychotic episode. So we go in, this new student doctor comes in, and stuff happens, it gets messy, and then leaving the room, Nurse Kim offers to get him new scrubs. And, I asked Noah, because it was a very short scene, but I was like, is there something going on there, though? Like, and she's like, yeah. She thinks he's a cutie, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Like, he's just like this like poor farm boy who's like in over his head, and he's just has a heart of gold.
Yeah,
and
he's a great character.
He deserves a spicy Latino. Okay, just kidding.
hey, we all deserve a little spice.
I love it.
Or he deserves to be commended for the good human that he is, right? Because he's like the type of doctor you would want if you were a patient.
Yeah.
Like, just very.
But all that aside, we want him to have a spicy Latino.
Yeah, but that's
all right.
It's not completely what the show's about, that is.
But there's romances in hospitals.
Yeah, you want to see a little bit because it keeps things interesting, right? You don't want everything to be so clinical where you're like, oh yeah, they don't have sexuality.
I got to say, what I love about the show is that I'm not that I say I don't like that, but we're not going home with these doctors or nurses. Yeah. It's all one day, and I'm assuming they're keeping the same format, right? And it really is the weight of one day, one day in each episode, hour to hour.
Yeah.
So the little new, which really happens in real life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So again, I watched it, originally just because I knew you were going to be on it looking for you, and then I was like, oh crap, this is really good. Right. And except for the graphics part, like my wife's there, like, oh my god, you're squeamish. I'm like, oh my god, I showed that guy's bone. Oh my god, I showed that guy's like what the heck? So yes, I would not be a good nurse or a doctor because I was like,
pass out.
There'll be many takes on Joel. They go, take again, Joel, don't look, Joel, don't look at that.
Don't look. But I would say where you are now in your career, I know you're going to continue to strive. So what is your goal? What is your goal in your career, taking from this to the next level? And what's the mentality do you feel that you either had or have learned that's kind of helped you move forward?
Okay, that's a great question. Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. So you got yourself back on. No. So I want to do it all. One of the actors on 911 was like, "Oh, so what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Do I need to have a limit? Like, I want to be in features. I really love horror. I really love comedy. I want to do that. Like, I actually
a romance comedy.
yeah, that too, with some horror. No, but I'm also a writer. I am looking to start once I get some time. I have a horror short about AI and in the hospital. So just about so I won't spoil it, but
just tell us off camera. We'll be good.
Yeah. So I want to, I've produced a couple shorts and I want to do that. I don't want to direct just like you. But yeah, as far as acting, I would love to just be a series regular, a recurring guest star. Definitely eventually. And
when do you feel like you could ring the bell, though? Because everyone aspires for something, right? But sometimes you have to realize, not to say this is as far as you go, but this is, you know what? I'm good here. Ding, 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 ding. I'm good here. Is it a recurring role? Is it your writing? And not to say there's a limit.
So my heroes, like the people that I aspire, that I'm always like, this is what I want my career to look like, is like Quinta Brunson, Issa Rae, like that they're doing comedy, that they're in their comedy shows. I don't have to be, I will say this, I don't have to be the star. I would love to be in an ensemble comedy show, but I would also love to be in the writer's room and just be pitching stuff.
Creating.
Just having my hand in multiple pots, I guess. And then just like Issa also doing movies, and just also and producing, just
experience it all.
Yeah,
basically,
and then I'll be happy.
Anything. Yeah.
At the age of 99, I can look back
she said, wow.
after I've done my last
declaring
movie. Playing So I think if I could get to like their levels, then I'll be like, I'm doing what I set out to do.
But okay, so we got to get going pretty soon. But I want to find out, because we talked about the Pit. I let it happen because Joel's like, oh my God, the Pit.
You're gonna watch it now, right?
Yeah, I am. Okay, I promise you. My wife's boss is a fan of the Pit, so I told her to tell her that I was interviewing you as well today too. So we got to take a picture before so I can send it to her. But we got to know a little bit, just real quick, about you, because you do have some secret things that you do, but I mean, it's on your social media, but you ice skate, you pole.
Yep, I love pole. So like
pole
dancing.
Explain pole dancing. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like,
Joel's like, what the heck?
I'm putting it out there that I get a pole dancing role too, because like I just love it so much. It's so hard. It is so hard.
She's twisting crazy.
Yeah,
all
I'm
really
out. I have to say, so because of figure skating, like I love just like spinning on the ice and whatever, but like I can't get to the ice rink that much, and I also don't like being cold that much. I don't know how I skated for so many years. But
she's good. Dude, she's good.
Yeah, on the pole though, you can do like similar like shapes, like laybacks and all that, and you're not cold, and you can do it like whenever you want. Like my goal is to eventually get a pole installed in my apartment, but just for
fun. You imagine the super like, hey,
I might wait until I'm not renting it.
So are you trying golf too? That was the last one, golf.
Oh yeah,
right. I saw you
golf.
See, she's golf. She's a woman of many talents.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I have ADHD. I don't sit still. Like I'm always like looking for the next little thing. But I love pole dancing. It's like one of my passions, and they
say it's a great workout. They say it's a great workout.
Like I could show you my guns. Like I didn't have them before, but I have like muscles now. I have like it's a great workout. I recommend it for anyone.
So anyone out there that is looking to do a movie or a short film and needs somebody that's talented. So again, it's not just the acting. It's just more having those different talents. Because you see them sometimes on resumes on the back of their headshots. It's like, oh, tennis player, horseback riding.
Like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but this is like pole dancer, medical technician.
Yeah,
I'm
golf.
okay with corpse golf. I'm okay with cutting open a corpse if you need me to cut up a corpse.
Exactly.
Like, those are the things. Those are talents, you know, and
they're
use your
weird
talents.
skills. And also, like, they've come up even on auditions just as like, oh, what's a fun fact about you? And it's just interesting. You know?
That breaks the ice right there.
Yeah.
Have you said it?
No, not for pole dancing yet. I haven't.
Because imagine us, because she looks like I said, and you go, so what's, pole dancing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what, you? Like, this is a trip.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah.
I like the fact because it means that, yes, you take those roles, you do, but then you have this fun side of you, and that's what people want. You got to have fun, right?
Yeah.
You got to live life, have fun. I mean, you said you want to make it to your 99, so you got to have fun and stuff. So is there any last words, anything else you would like to say? Maybe we didn't ask you something and you want to share?
If you want to plug.
Want to plug something?
Oh.
Plug the Pit?
Nosotros.
Nosotros, Nosotros is great.
This is your camera right there.
Oh, yeah, Nosotros is great. Watch the Pit. Season 2 is going to be starting to film in June, which is awesome. And because they've already announced this, I can say this. It's not like, but it sounds like it's going to take place over 4th of July.
Ooh,
for the next day.
Okay, so one day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So just imagine all the crazy stuff that can happen.
Like,
So I think
Dude, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. So
cool.
that's, I think, if you thought the first season was incredible, I'm very excited for the second season.
I'm sold because of you, that.
Okay,
And
cool.
Joel now too, because Joel's making it like, so I'm like really excited about it.
It's like the word of mouth on this show has just grown fans. Like the fan base is crazy now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's it.
What one piece of advice you want to let someone out there that's struggling or deciding one foot in, one foot out, just something that you would give them to kept you going, or something you would advise them?
I would say, like, no, even if it feels slow, because it feels very slow in the industry, the way that I get through these like little like depressions where you're just like, I'm not getting auditions, like nothing feels like it's happening. Try to create stuff for yourself, even if it's like a TikTok video. Like one time I made like a stupid TikTok video about the egg black market when eggs were doing that. It was so dumb, but it like gave me so much joy in that little bit of time that I was planning out like, oh, what are all the other words you can say for eggs? Like, let's call them oval ovas. That sound like drugs, right? Like I was e-balls, so like stupid stuff like that. God. And that's free, but then if you can like do an improv class where you can create community, like, I don't know, it's just, if you're an artist, it's good to be surrounded by other artists, and then you find people, and then you don't feel so alone. You can kind of share in that struggle. That's like, find your community. Nosotros.
Chicano Hollywood.
Chicano Hollywood.
Oh yeah, trouble.
Sorry, Chicano Hollywood.
Chicano Hollywood. Yeah, Chicano
I would
Hollywood.
say this hashtag. Let's start doing hashtag Keep Nurse Kim.
Yes.
Hashtag Keep Nurse Kim. That's what I'm.
And where can they follow you?
Yes.
I'm on Instagram at Ambar Ambar a go because I'm always on the go. It's kind of like.
I like that.
Whatever. Whiskey a go-go, all the other
Whiskey a go-go. I love that venue.
Right?
Exactly.
Like all the other go-go things. Yeah, that's what it's from. Yeah.
Let's support her, everybody. I think,
definitely support you. I mean, we got to get more people like you on shows because you know what? Your personality, you're Latina. You know what's funny? She texted me. She messaged me. She messaged me. She goes, I'm not Chicano, but is that okay? And I'm like, yes. I'm Dominican.
I just want to make sure because I was like, I don't want to be. You're like, you're fine.
I think the word Chicano now is morphed into just the community.
Yes, it is. It's a community thing
that they're building.
No,
well, it is. It's a culture. It's not necessarily an ethnicity. It's just a culture. You're Chicana. Don't worry about it. You're Chicana. Yeah, she's knighted right now.
Thank you.
She could go on set on the pit and say, I'm Chicana.
Yeah.
Wear a t-shirt.
JR says so.
Wear a Nosotros t-shirt.
If anybody doubts, yeah.
But hey, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time, Joel. Thank you once again, man.
Yes,
Joel,
of course.
he I love the fact that he was able just to run with this. Thank you so much, bro. It means a lot, and stuff. So until next time, guys, we'll see you guys next week. Chicano Hollywood. Hey,
Woo!
look out.